Hello, fellow students. This is Boyd Lake. This is my portfolio project for this COMM 130 class. Um, and this here is my portfolio, the first cover, or the cover of the portfolio here. And my portfolio layout features a basic background with a faded in pattern and some noise in a green analogous color with analogous yellow type on top of it. And I felt this reflected something that was very living. This week, my family and I spent some time in Nauvoo, and one of the striking features of that whole country is how green it is there this time of year. And so I guess the green sort of just kind of pushed its way into this project as I experienced the time I spent there. Um, of course, I have my contact information on the left, table of contents on the right, and the order of the projects in my portfolio is geared to feature the strongest projects first. And my project order is a little bit unique. One of the early projects is the top of the list, though generally these things typically go chronologically as the class goes. The flyer, of course, being at the bottom. It's a very simple layout, monochromatic grayscale. And so I think it's the least interesting, though I enjoyed doing it. But let's go ahead and step through the portfolio here. This again is what I thought was my strongest project. I had the most fun creating this. This was the photo design where we created what I decided to do was an advertisement for real estate, and created this fictional place that wanted to sell to a particular clientele, which is the typical hipster, and Austin is full of these guys, as many places are. And I thought it would be humorous to put a twist on the real estate in this area of Austin where I work. This building, this apartment building, and these shops is just outside the door of my office. And so I love going out here for lunch and watching people shop and doing some shopping myself. And the architecture is post-industrial, and I just really enjoy the colors used. And so this became part of my project. Um, Probably the most fun I had was creating the Illustrator shapes for this project. The hipster graphic, the bearded character with the shades and the type in the shades and over the shades. Is something that I wanted to do to draw the eye, uh, though I try to create a circular kind of composition with a strong title and hierarchy as well. And I think this worked out fairly well with the more saturated colors in the photo below, but the eye being pulled up into the advertising information and the title, and then over to the interesting graphic. And most successful compositions include this kind of flow where the most important information draws the eye first, but then the eye quickly moves through the composition. And I felt like this was a pretty successful try, especially for something so early on in the semester. The next favorite project I had was this little logo project. It includes very simple shapes, again in Illustrator. And we were asked to do three different versions, some black and white, a negative composition below, and then the normal positive. And I stayed with a fairly complementary color scheme and used two typefaces. Actually, the same typeface, just I used a super heavy version above, and for electronics, I used the regular light and open version. Um, Moving on, I'm a real big fan of Nacho Libre, mainly because he's just an appealing character that kind of is silly in the utmost, but there's a lot to learn from Nacho Libre, especially learning about how you deal with not being good at something that you love to do. And Nacho is a good example of this. He's a character who's kind of in denial, but he loves what he does so much that he stays with it. And everybody, if you understand the 4 stages of learning, one of the stages is understanding that you don't have very good ability, but you stay with it because you love it, and eventually you learn the things you need to learn to become successful and very good. But that takes time. And the thing that gets us through that is faith and this drive to do something that we love and this belief that we can one day learn those things. Anyway, that was the inspiration for using this. And so I kind of used the iconic mask as a sub shape on the back of the business card, and the front of the business card is this chip company that's Nacho's chips. If you're familiar with the movie Nacho, what he does every day is he feeds uh, the orphans and the priests and the nuns at the Catholic Church, and his job is to make their meals. And he gets chips every day, and so I thought that would be an awfully good name for a chip company. So I used a triadic color scheme for this, faded grayish blue slate, and the yellow and gold and the browns I think work really well with the red in this color scheme. The letterhead very similar with a very, very faded treatment with the watermark. Um, this was another project I really enjoyed. The duplex brochure required a lot of technical and mechanical kinds of arrangement. This is a trifold, and on the back is another image that reveals itself through the cutout. And in my actual portfolio, I do have the folded version, which uh, I think was fairly successful. It was difficult to manage hierarchy. I have a lot of body copy and a lot of type in the message, and some of the critique was encouraging me to pull some of it out, and so I did. And I think that was a good idea. That was definitely good to always simplify where you can, and I probably could simplify more, which is why this isn't closer to the top. This is my photo montage. Uh, this one is landscape, and our portfolios are in portrait, and so I've left this rotated because I wanted the resolution in the photography to come through, and the treatment in a physical portfolio, of course, you can rotate, and this is fine. It's a little more problematic here, but I decided to leave it this way. The web page was technically more challenging. There are some more limitations, of course, than on the web than free designing for print. Uh, but I found it quite a bit of fun to put together this little presentation of the logo project for this web page description. And I enjoyed this project very much. The event ad was also very enjoyable, um, uh, but it's one of these early projects, and of course, finishing up with the flyer. I really did enjoy putting together the portfolio. It's always fun to see the volume of work that you've done after a period of time. And it's always gratifying to pull it all together and put it into a cohesive presentation. And it's this part of the project or the semester where you get to look back that I've always enjoyed. You get to see the fruits of your labors, and whatever grade you think you're going to get, it's always good to see what you've done and what you've learned. And I feel like I've learned quite a bit. And I appreciate everybody's support, and the critiques we've done online have been very enjoyable, and I appreciate everybody's comments, and especially Sister Kuntz. I appreciate her encouragement and her willingness to check in and see how things are going. And I'll close with this note again, looking back at Nauvoo and being able to enjoy learning more about life there. and the hardships that they went through just gave me a lot of encouragement and faith that really, if you put your mind to it, there's so much that you can accomplish. And it takes patience, it takes hard work. There are no shortcuts, but if you stay with it, you'll get better and things will improve and you'll be fine. And I close with that, and I will see you later, guys.